Hey everyone, this is the imperishable Sane Zenith. So, in this video, I sort of wanted to pitch an idea that I had. So, as you all know, remasters of old 3D platformer games from the, you know, early 2000s have been sort of trendy as of late. Well, not just the early 2000s, but also the late 90s, but still. Um, Obviously, that got a lot of attention with Crash Bandicoot, the Insane Trilogy, and Spyro, the Reignited Trilogy. And not only that, but also Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. So, I the idea I wanted to pitch was about another 3D platformer series from that era. A 3D platformer series that's perhaps a bit less lesser known and less popular, but I still think it's a relic from that era nonetheless, and it deserves a chance to shine on current gen consoles. And that series is the Pac-Man World Trilogy. So, the Pac-Man World Trilogy started in 1999 with Pac-Man World for the PlayStation, and that was to celebrate the series' 20th anniversary. And in 2002, a sequel to that was released called Pac-Man World 2. It's a fairly standard name for a sequel, but that game surpassed its predecessor in every way, and currently I still consider it one of my favorite games of all time, just because of how much it meant to me during my childhood. And then a sequel to that, the last installment to the Pac-Man World trilogy, predictably named Pac-Man World 3, was released in 2005. Believe it or not, the legacy of these games is actually quite extensive. The Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures video games for consoles like the Wii U and PlayStation 3 and whatnot were actually heavily inspired by the Pac-Man World games. And not only that, but Pac-Man's design in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U/3DS and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is inspired by his design that was in the Pac-Man World games. So personally, I really want to see these games get another chance to shine, and I want to have a chance to play them on modern consoles. Not just me, but also like you know, younger generations who didn't get to experience it. And honestly, just simply breathing new life into the game will probably make it far more like successful and polished than it ever was on the original consoles and the original versions of those games. Personally, I think Pac-Man World 2 really stands out as the best game in the trilogy. I mean, I may be a bit biased, but I really think it perfects the gameplay formula that was established in Pac-Man World 1. The graphics were much better. It felt like a, true 3D game, unlike its predecessor, which kind of felt almost like um a top-down perspective game like Zelda in a way, but, with platforming gameplay. And of course, the colorful and cartoony visuals are really fitting for the Pac-Man World universe. overall, this game and Pac-Man World 1 did a really good job of characterizing the Pac-Man universe, because I felt like before these games, Pac-Man was sort of like bland. There wasn't really anything interesting about it because it was just a simple arcade game before this. I mean, of course, after the original Pac-Man, there were, you know, many different like versions of it that came after, like Miss Pac-Man, trying to think, Pac-Mania, um, Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness came out around the same time as Pac-Man World. Let's see. Oh yeah, Pac-Land. That was another Pac-Man platforming game, but that was more of a side-scrolling 2D game, and I don't think that one was as good, just because of the weird controls and whatnot. Um, but I do think it set the foundation for the Pac-Man World series in some subtle ways. But anyways, also, what should be included in this collection is, of course, Pac-Man World 3. That is part of the series, even though it is quite a different game from its predecessors. This game is a little bit more story focused. It takes a different, um, you know, route in characterizing Pac-Man as well as the world around him, because Pac-Man can actually like talk in this game. He actually has like a legit voice actor. Um, and yeah, like I said, the game is story focused. It almost in a way feels like what do you call it? A Saturday morning cartoon. Just the way it's like written and the, you know, in-game dialogue and everything. In Pac-Man World 2, there was some like dialogue. There was some like scripting for the characters, but not very much, not nearly as much as Pac-Man World 3. And you know, I think it's cool that they try to do something unique with Pac-Man World 3. I think if they made it too similar to Pac-Man World 2, it basically would have just, you know, felt like DLC for that game, which, you know, when you're trying to make a sequel, like you want to add some new elements to it. But I think Pac-Man World 3 sort of took that to an extreme, like trying to be different from World 2 and World 1. Cause you know, like how in the Mario series, each game has sort of like a new twist that makes it different from the previous ones. But each 3D Mario still has, you know, a recognizable, similar gameplay style that exists across all the three Mario games, and each one kind of builds off the previous one rather than, you know, uh, for instance, Super Mario Sunshine feeling it belongs in a completely different series than 64. The only exception to that with Mario specifically would be 3D Land and 3D World, which I think is why those games aren't as beloved as, you know, 64, Galaxy, Odyssey, and even Sunshine are. But I think because Nintendo is so good at, like, making games in general, I think people just, you know, loved those games nonetheless. But the Pac-Man World games are different. They have some issues. I'd say each game has, you know, camera issues. Well, not so much Pac-Man World, because, again, like the top-down perspective gameplay and everything, but mainly World 2 and World 3. The camera was really hard to, like, control, so that's one thing they need to fix if they make a remastered Pac-Man World Trilogy. They do need to fix the camera in those games and, make the camera, like, you know, much easier to manipulate because, yeah, that was definitely a complaint many people had with those games who actually played those games. Because again, not many people did. But yeah, Pac-Man World 3, definitely a different game. Not just, with the, way it characterized Pac-Man, but also, like, gameplay-wise, it was a lot more combat-focused, while Pac-Man World, 2 and 1 were, a lot more focused on, like, the actual platforming. And, yeah, to me, I just think platforming should be the central focus of the series. I think World 3 strayed a bit too much from that with, like, the platforming and also, like, some of the solving elements with the power-ups and playing as the ghost, which is a neat idea. But yeah, that and controlling Talkman. Yeah, neat ideas, but I don't think that should have been, like, the selling point of the game, or that shouldn't have been, like, as interwoven into the game. This game is almost like what Crash 3 was to the Crash trilogy, just, being a bit more gimmicky. But funnily enough, I think even Crash 3 felt more like it felt more true to its predecessors than Pac-Man World 3 did, which is kind of sad to say, because I don't hate Pac-Man World 3 at all. I still think it's a good game, a good platformer game that's worth playing. But I guess another good comparison would be the Pac-Man The Ghostly Adventures game. I would say gameplay-wise, Pac-Man World 3 laid, the groundwork for the Ghostly Adventures games, just in terms of, the combat focus and some of the power-ups and other gimmicks that they added into the game. So if you like the Ghostly Adventures trilogy, you'd probably like Pac-Man World 3 a lot. But again, I prefer World 1 and World 2. But honestly, if they put the same amount of effort into remaking these games as they did in Sane Trilogy and Reignited, I think the Pac-Man World Remastered Trilogy would be terrific. Or even if they just, like, upscaled the games and released it as a package for cheap. Sort of like what they did with what Nintendo did with 3D All-Stars, but, make it way cheaper than that, like $20 at best. They could go that route, but personally, I like to see them, put more effort into polishing these games. But regardless, I think people deserve a chance to experience these games, and who knows, maybe this could even be, like, a launching point for the future of the Pac-Man series, which has pretty much been stagnant as of late. I think the last Pac-Man game was, like, Championship Edition 2, which was way back in 2015 or something, so it's been a while. I've been saying for years they should make a Pac-Man World 4. I think I even made, like, a bunch of old videos saying that, like, when I was ranting about Ghostly Adventures. But, yeah, I think they should definitely, remake the Pac-Man World trilogy first before doing that, because if they just randomly made a Pac-Man World 4, people wouldn't really have any context for, alright, this is the fourth game, well then, what about the first, second, and third games, because, those games are much harder to obtain nowadays. my main avenue of continuing to play those games has been through emulators, so yeah, definitely put it on the current gen consoles. Anyways, I think I am done here. I think the Pac-Man World series was a brilliant like platforming series, very like overlooked and underappreciated. And if you haven't tried those games yet, I encourage you to, whatever way you can. The game draws inspiration heavily from like other 3D platformers of the time, like the 3D Sonic games, Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, as well as like Crash Bandicoot, and like Super Mario 64. So if you love 3D platformers in general, I definitely um implore you to go check that out, and thank you so much for watching. This has been the imperishable Sammy Zenith, and thank you to anyone who watched until the end of the video. I announced at the end of my Super Mario Odyssey video, part 6, that I will start responding to comments that leave the hashtag end of video squad in their comments. I will be responding to those in at the end of my videos from now on. And if you want to get the chance to be mentioned in one of my future videos with your comment, leave that hashtag end of video squad. All you have to do is watch until the end of the video. So one of the comments I'm responding to is Albert Lewis. He says, I'm hyped for WandaVision. If it's anything like the comics, it's going to be intense. Honestly, I didn't know it was based off of a story arc from the comics. If that's the case, I should definitely do more research into that. But yeah, there's definitely something strange going on, because it's not every day you go from being one of the Avengers to just somehow ending up in, you know, a 1950s black and white television show. So, yeah, I'm definitely curious as to what is going on. I can't wait for episode 3 and so on. Another comment I'm going to be responding to is Eris Flackerby. He says, good to see you making videos again. What game are you most looking forward to in 2021? Well, there's apparently a Sonic game that is in the works for 2021 because it's Sonic's 30th anniversary. Sega said they have plans to release a game this year. I don't know if that will still be happening because they delay things a lot, and they've downsized their company a lot. And we still have very little information about it, so who really knows, but hopefully that's coming out this year. If not, I'm also excited for Breath of the Wild 2, even though I still need to complete Breath of the Wild 1, because that's a game that's really like easy to get lost in. The last video that's tagged to end of video squad that I want to respond to you is Dingus Pringus, and he says, hi Sammy, I have no question, but keep up the good work, man. Thank you. Yeah, I will definitely keep up the good work. I'm going to try and upload more consistently. And I think I've been doing a better job of that as of late, as in, you know, the past month. Definitely don't want to make you guys go through too many drought seasons, especially since, you know, that impacts how my videos do in terms of like views and whatnot. So, but Also, I want to, keep entertaining you guys. I know you guys appreciate that. But anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you liked what I have to say. If so, like the video. Uh, dislike the video if you think they should remake Pac-Man 2, The New Adventures. I don't even know what to say to that. It's I thought that was universally regarded as a bad game. I don't think that game is worthy of a remaster. I don't think it would do particularly good for Namco. But yeah, I don't know. Good for you, I guess. Hopefully that doesn't happen. It's not even much of an adventure game, really. It's dumb. Anyways, we're done here. Subscribe for more videos, and I will see you all next time.